Hello students, let us start with the limitation of Ohm's law. We have studied the Ohm's law where we know that V was proportional to I. As the potential difference across the conductor increases, the current also increases, and therefore V is equal to IR, where R is a constant of proportionality and is known as resistance. Now you have to remember, almost all the conductors or metal obey the Ohm's law. So materials which obey Ohm's law are called ohmic devices. So almost all the conductors, or you can say all the metals, generally obey the Ohm's law. So we call them ohmic devices if they are used in any device. And there are few materials, or especially the semiconductors, which do not obey Ohm's law. So if our materials which are generally semiconductors which does not obey Ohm's law are called non-ohmic devices or non-ohmic materials. So we will see that they are mostly the semiconductors. So the limitation of Ohm's law is also based on the semiconductor materials. We will give the example of semiconductor materials or a semiconductor devices like PN junction diodes, etc. And we will also study in detail about the semiconductors in the chapter. So we have a separate chapter for semiconductors. Now first limitation is, we have seen that the graph for V versus I was linear. So as V increases, the I also increases. So there are few devices where this graph is not linear. So the graph, instead of a straight line, this is the actual graph. There are some devices whose Ohm's law or VI graph is not a straight line, it is curved. So this is an Ohm's law, solid line is the Ohm's law, but there are few materials, especially we talk about a semiconductor device like diode. So the first limitation is V ceases to be proportional to I. That is, the graph V versus I is non-linear. And example is diode. So this is a semiconducting material or a device. So the first limitation is, generally we get a graph curved upward, or we can say the graph is non-linear for few materials. So that is its first limitation. All the materials in nature does not obey the Ohm's law. Second, the relation between V and I depend on the sign of V. Now what does it mean? Suppose we have a conducting material, and if I connect a battery or a cell, say V, then the current is flowing from cross section A to cross section B. This is the direction of the conventional current. Now suppose for V is equal to 2 volt, let the current obtained is 1 ampere. Now if the polarity of the cell or V is changed, that is, if I change the terminal, in the case of conductor, we are talking about the conductor. So if I change the polarity, then in this situation, the current is flowing from the cross section B to cross section A. Now again, if we have a battery of 2 volt, the current obtained is 1 ampere. So this is the situation for a conducting materials. Means the graph or the relation between V and I does not depend on the sign of V, whether cross section A is positive or cross section B is positive. The value of the current remains same. But there are few semiconducting devices where the relation depend on this polarity of V. Means if I interchange the terminal, the value of the current or the magnitude of the current will change. So the second limitation is the relation between V and I depends on sign of V. The relation between V and I depend on the sign of V. That is, if the polarity of V is changed, keeping its magnitude fixed, So I keep the magnitude fixed, that is a 2 volt. So the relation between V and I depend on the sign of V means if the polarity of V is changed keeping its magnitude fixed, then the magnitude of current is different as compared to I in opposite direction. So if the current is flowing from A to B, the value of current is say 1 ampere. When the current is flowing from B to A, the value of I is different. So in this situation, the graph obtained is different because the value of the current is changed. Now this all thing we will see in the semiconductor chapter, and the graph for this comes out to be like this. Suppose this is a V, and because the direction of current is changed for say for this case, now it is not a conductor, this you will see in a semiconductor device. So it is like this, and if the polarity of V is changed, so we change the polarity, then the direction of the current has changed and its magnitude will also change. Here the magnitude has not changed in the case of a conductor. The magnitude of the current remains 1 ampere, though the direction of current is changed. Here also we will see that the magnitude of the current will definitely change. So if this is say, we will see in diode, if this is an order of milliampere, this will be the order of the microampere. So we will see the different situation. This is the value of current. So if this value is microampere, for same V, say this is 2 volt. So this will be written as minus 2 volt because the polarity has changed. Now for 2 volt, the current will be in the order of say milliampere, then this order will be of microampere. So there is a difference of 10 raised to 3 order, micro and milli. So this all things generally we see in the semiconductor devices. So first limitation is the graph is non-linear. Second limitation is the relation depends on the sign of V and I. The third relation. Now if you remember, we have made the table for the Ohm's law, or if the graph is linear, this is the case of a conductor. In fact, an ideal conductor whose resistivity is 0. So you get a straight line. Now if we draw a table for this, it is like V0, 0. Say 1 volt, 1 ampere. 2 volt, 2 ampere. 3 volt, 3 ampere. So this relation is linear for the conductors. There is a unique relation. unique relation means 1 to 1 value. For 1 volt you will get 1 ampere only, but this is not the case in the same in the case of semiconductor. So the third limitation is the relation between V and I is not unique. The relation is not unique. So in this situation, what happens, that is, we get two different values. So let us see the graph in this situation. Suppose this is V and this is I axis. So if the graph is like this, now what will happen in this situation? If I drop a perpendicular on X and Y axis, say this is V1, this is V2. So I get the same value of current for different values of voltage. So I have two different values of voltage. So for a same for a two different voltage, for a two different values of V, the I is different. So relation between V and I is not unique. That is, we get two different values of V for same value of I. So this is the graph which is non-linear. So you have not 1 to 1 value. So for V1 volt also you get a current I ampere. For V2 volt also you get a current I. So that is not a 1 to 1 relation, or the relation between V and I is not unique. Now again this thing happen in a semiconductor devices which consist of gallium arsenide. So that is all these limitations are written related to a semiconducting devices. So almost all the conductor will obey Ohm's law, but there are few materials. So there are very few semiconductor which will obey Ohm's law. There are few conductors also which will not obey Ohm's law. So if this is the case, if a graph is non-linear, you say it is a non-ohmic device. If the relation depend on the sign of V, it is a non-ohmic device. If the relation is not unique, then again it is a non-ohmic device. Now the next small topic is resistivity of materials. So we will classify the materials on the basis of their resistivity. On the basis of resistivity, materials are classified. So we have a classification on the basis of the resistivity. Materials are classified into number 1, conductors. So number 1 is a conductors. What we are studying in this chapter, so we are generally deal with conductors or metal. Their resistivity is extremely low. So first characteristic, first we classify them on the basis of their resistivity. So we have 3 types of material, that is conductors, semiconductors and insulator. So we have, this chapter deals with conductor, we have another chapter which will deal with a semiconductor, and there is not a much thing to discuss about insulator because they will not help us in the branch of electricity. So on the basis of on the basis of the resistivity, let us write the characteristics of conductor. So one characteristic is the resistivity is very low or very less. So the resistivity is very less, that is about 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter to 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter. So the resistivity is very low or very less, and you see the value, it is 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter to 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter. So this is one characteristic. Now if the resistivity is 0, then it is an ideal conductor, again which is an ideal situation. So we don't have any conducting material whose resistivity is 0. So however, if this is almost like a 0 resistivity. Then another characteristic, they generally obey Ohm's law. So Ohm's law is obeyed generally. We are talking generally. There are few conductors which will not obey the Ohm's law also, but we are taking a general case, and specifically we are talking about metals. Then the important characteristic is, as temperature increases, their resistivity decreases. So this is one of the important characteristic of a conductor. As temperature increases, their resistivity will also increase, or conductivity will decrease. So they have a direct relation with the temperature that we have seen in the previous topic also. On the basis of the formula of resistivity, the resistivity was inversely proportional to the relaxation time. So as the temperature was increased, the relaxation time decreases, and therefore the resistivity increases. So this is a few property, or you say a few characteristic of conductor. Then we have insulators. Example, we can take the example of the conductors are metal. Then we have an insulator. Now as compared to this, the resistivity is very high. Their resistivity is very high. That is 10 raised to 18 times the conductor. 10 raised to 18 times the conductor. So their range becomes 10 raised to 10 ohm meter to 10 raised to 12 ohm meter. And the example are rubber, ceramic, wood, plastic, etc. There is no need to discuss about this Ohm's law or a temperature, because their octet or they do not possess free electrons. So there is no need to discuss about the temperature, resistivity or conductivity. They will not free their electrons. So they do not possess a free electron. So we are not discussing whether Ohm's law is obeyed or not obeyed. Third type of the material is semiconductor. So this semiconductor is in between conductor and insulator. So their resistivity is least. Conductor resistivity is least. So semiconductor, their resistivity is more than conductor, but less than insulators. So this is on the basis of the resistivity, they fall in the category between conductors and insulator. So they are neither the good conductors nor the bad conductors. So they come in between. And as far as temperature is concerned, as temperature increases, it is opposite to this, their resistivity will decrease. Or so as temperature increases, we say the resistivity decreases, or the conductivity, that is sigma, will increase. So this is about the semiconductor. Now let us see the types of resistors. Now see that we don't have ideal conductors. Means all metal or conductors have the resistivity. So type of resistors, we make there are two types of resistor. One is called wire bound resistors. Now this wire bound resistors are made, they are made by winding wires generally of alloy on insulating base, So generally wire bound resistors are made by winding wires, and the wires material are alloy. The example of alloy are nichrome, constantan. So these are the alloy. Then we have manganese. These are the different types of alloys. Now this alloy characteristic is they are insensitive to temperature. Insensitive to temperature means they does not respond to the increase or decrease in the temperature. That is, their resistivity remain constant with respect to temperature. Unlike the metals, where the temperature increases, the resistivity increases. And alloy, we know it is a mixture of the metal or impurities, say. So they generally are independent of the temperature. We will see about them. We will see the graph how the resistivity of the alloy changes as compared to that of a metal or conductor. So we will see that as temperature increase, the resistance will increase in the case of a conductor, while for a alloy they are insensitive to temperature. So this wire bound resistors are, you have to simply wind a wire. So this is an appropriate, say, base. Generally the base is insulating. It is in a cylindrical form, and you simply wind a wire on it, and this will be the wire bound resistors. Now their values, wire bound values are from ohm to few hundred ohms. So their resistivity or their resistance value is from ohm to few hundred ohm. Moreover, we will see that they are costly as compared to another types of resistor which are called as carbon resistors. So this advantage of carbon resistors is they have large values of resistance. So the resistance, if you want a resistance in between ohm to few hundred ohm, you go for wire bound resistors. Otherwise, we have a carbon resistor. They have a large value of resistance. Another thing is they are inexpensive as compared to the wire bound resistor, and nowadays they are widely used, or carbon resistors are widely used as compared to the wire bound resistors. So they are inexpensive, small in size, that is they are compact, and they have a wide application. So widely used in almost all electronic devices. So we will see, or we will study the carbon resistors in detail. Their values can be determined by the different color on it. So carbon resistors are generally made by the material carbon. So in this resistors are made by filling the carbon inside a cylinder. So you take a hollow cylinder, and then we fill up the carbon material, say graphite or charcoal, anything related the carbon materials, and then two terminals are taken out from it, and this entire cylinder or a capsule is insulated from outside, so that we only see the two terminals. So this is the carbon resistors, where we have only two terminals. So in a hollow cylinder, this is one way to make a carbon resistor. So you take a hollow cylinder, fill up a carbon materials, charcoal, graphite in it, take out the two thin say copper wire, and keep this cylinder insulated from or an insulated covering is made on it, and this is our carbon resistors. Now their values are determined by the color bands. Their values are determined by color bands, means on their base they have a different bands. It is called as a color band, and because they have this color band we can determine its value. So it is like a bands are made in the form of ring from one end of the resistor. So there are 3 band, or sometimes there are 4 band. So 3 color bands are near to each other. The 4th band is away if it is available. Now these color bands are used to determine the resistance of that carbon resistor. So now we will see how to determine the value of a carbon resistors. Now see the color codes for finding out. This color code is for carbon resistors. This color code is for carbon resistors. Now carbon resistor consists of different colors band. The 3 bands are in continuation or near to each other. The 4th band we will talk about it. Sometime it is present, sometime it is not there. So in order to determine its value, suppose this color is red, this is orange, and this color is say black. The 4th color we will discuss later on. Now see, we have written the color. Now the color, this is the name of the color, and we have the number for it, that is 0, 1, 2. So this is color name and this is the number. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gold, silver, no color. There is no number for it. Then we have a multiplier. Multiplier is 10 raised to. So 10 raised to 0, 10 raised to 1, 10 raised to 2, 10 raised to 3. This number becomes a power. 10 raised to 4, 10 raised to 5, 10 raised to 6, 7, 8, 10 raised to 9. For gold it is 10 raised to minus 1. For silver it is 10 raised to minus 2. And again for no color we have written dash. So we have 10 raised to minus 1, 10 raised to minus 2 in the multiplier, so that if the value of the resistor is less, then we have this tolerance. So tolerance, for as far as our syllabus is concerned, the 4th band will be called as tolerance. It will have a value for a gold 5%, silver 10%, and if it is no color then it is 20%. Now how to determine this value, or how will you remember this color code? So see the first letter. We underline the first letter. Now it should be remembered like BB Roy. So you have to remember, because B is repeating. So first it starts with black. BB Roy, Great Britain. BB Roy, Great Britain, very good wife. So this is the color code to remember, that BB Roy, this is Great Britain, means of Great Britain, have a very good, Great Britain, very good wife. So this is up to 9. You have to take the first letter, BB Roy, Great Britain, very good wife. Then within bracket I write with gold and silver. So we have G and S. So the color code is BB Roy, Great Britain, very good wife, gold and silver. So B is repeating. So first is black, then we have a brown, then B, and for GG you have to remember, first is a green and then we have a gray. Now how to determine this value? See the first code, or first color, sorry. The first 2 color band will give you 2-digit or 2 significant figures. So you have to write a 2-digit number. One will be a digit at tens place, one will be the digit at ones place or unit place. Or you write a first 2 significant figures. So see, first color is red. Now what is the color code for a red? That is 2. Then I write a value 2. Then I have a orange. Orange code is 3. So this is 3. Third color. This is the third color band, is called multiplier. Means we have to multiply this 2-digit number with the color code or a multiplier, which is the third band. So third band is black. So black multiplier is 10⁻⁴. So your answer becomes 1023 into 10⁻�0. Now 10⁻�0 is 1. So this value becomes 23 ohms. So if you have only 3 colors, say red, orange, black, then the value of this carbon resistor is 23 ohms. Now, if the fourth band is not available, we have another term, tolerance. That is a fourth color band. We will discuss it shortly. Before that, we will see these values. Now, from the table, it should be clear that the third band can be gold or silver also. So that value, if it is gold here, then the value becomes 23 into 10⁻⁻⁴, that is 2.3 ohms. So this is how we determine the value of a carbon resistor with the help of the color bands on it. Let us take another example. So this is a carbon resistor having 2 terminal out, made up of carbon material. This is first color band, this is second color band, and let this be the third color band. Now suppose the value is, say, brown, black, and the third is, say, brown again. So we have a brown, black, brown. So starting from one end, you have to start from one end where this 3 ring or the 3 color bands are near to each other. Fourth band will always be away from this 3 bands. So this is the fourth color band. Now see the first color, brown. So 1, that is a digit at a tens place. Then we have a black, 0. So 0. So this is a 10. And third color is always a multiplier, that is again brown. So for brown, if you remember this one, you write 10⁻⁴. So this becomes 10⁻⁴. So this value becomes 100 ohms. This is how the color code is there for a carbon resistor. Now what about the fourth band? The fourth band gives a tolerance. Now what does this mean? Tolerate. Now we know that as temperature increases, the resistivity also increases, or in fact the resistance increases. Now if you are using this carbon resistor in any device and suppose their temperature changes suddenly, or if the season change, the temperature will change. So in winter the temperature is different, in summer the temperature is different. So whether that resistor will tolerate that thing or not, that is called tolerance. So if at any place the temperature increases to a very high value, so as temperature increases, the resistivity will also increase. Now whether that resistor will tolerate that change in temperature or not, that is determined by tolerance. Now suppose we have a fourth band, which is, now fourth band is gold, silver, or if there is no fourth band, it is 20% written. Suppose the fourth band is gold. Fourth band is gold. So I will write for first 3 color the value, and then I will write plus minus. Gold have a tolerance of 5%, so I will write 5%. So the answer becomes 100 plus minus 5% ohm for this resistor. resistor. This is called tolerance. Now what does this tolerance means? So if the resistor value is 100 ohms, as temperature increases, its resistivity should increase. So it means it 5% of 100, that is 5. So its maximum value is 105 ohm and the minimum value is 95 ohm. So you get a range that this resistor will work perfectly fine till its value remain between 95 to 105 ohms. Now if temperature increases abruptly to a large value such that the resistor value crosses 105 ohms, then the device will not function or it may get damaged, because it can tolerate up to 105 ohms only, or minimum it can tolerate up to 95 ohms. So this resistors is a temperature dependent device and you have to see its tolerance. Here I have taken 100 value, so it is easy to find out the 5% of 100. So if the value is say 200 plus minus 10%, then it means the fourth band is silver. Now 10% of 200, 10% of 200, then you can easily find out the range of this resistor. So in order to find out the range, simply 200 into 10 divided by 100, so its value becomes 20. So what will be its value? 220 ohms, and here it should be 180 ohms. Also if you take a mean, you will get a 200 ohms. So this is how the fourth band is the tolerance. So maximum, if the fourth band is silver, this resistor can withstand the resistance between 180 ohms to 220 ohms. And by chance, if the fourth band is not given, suppose we have only 3 colors given to us, and in the question or in the MCQ they have not mentioned the fourth band, then you have to remember to put a tolerance as 20%. So if this is brown, black, brown, so brown 1, black 0, then 10 is to 1, that is 100. But final answer should be written as 100 plus minus 20%, because the fourth band is not there. So in the option you will get 100 ohms, 120 ohms like this, or 100 plus minus 20%. So you have to remember it is necessary to put a 20% if fourth band is not given. So its maximum value can be written as 20% of 100, that is 120, and here also it becomes 80. So the range becomes 80 to 120. So that is no color code is no fourth band is available. So this is how the resistors values are determined. As far as our syllabus is concerned, we have a tolerance of gold, silver and no color, though now we have a different colors also in a tolerance, that is a different color code, but this is the basic color code, and you will see the third color band either to be gold or silver. So you have to remember this 20% concept about the fourth band. So this is all about the basic things we have done: the limitation of Ohm's law, resistivity of different materials, the color code, types of resistors. These are the basic topics. Have a good day.